Man, I had to turn that light down, man. My forehead was a little bit too shiny, man. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jay, and I'm back with another fragrance video. Fresh off vacation, man, down there doing my thing in Quintana Roo, man. I hope that all of you are doing well, okay? Hopefully, man, I got a little bit of a tan. Y'all might be able to see. Per my actual analytics, though, it seems that only 20% of my actual subs are watching the videos. 80% of the actual views on this channel are coming from new followers or potential followers. So if it's your first time here, welcome. If it's your second time here or more, hit the like button. All right, super hard list for me to put together. It was sort of, like teetering on the same path that I went down when I was creating my 10 for life list, okay? So what I had to decide was the parameters for this one, and it was a little bit different. My 10 for life are just fragrances I just essentially have to have them, okay? Backup bottle worthy for me. These are fragrances that essentially introduced me maybe to a combination of notes the first time I smelt something like this, or just really, really unique, okay? So these weren't really judged by, compliments or performance or anything like that. This is a personal list of fragrances that I feel like, others could definitely find backup bottle worthy as well, but really, truly, to me, and I might even put some on screen, are just fragrances I just have to have a second bottle of, because I feel like, and especially because I see at least two over there, if you've been in this game long enough, you've gone through this, where some of your favorite fragrances have been discontinued. Okay, so I'm kicking this list off with a fragrance that is, basically a holy grail to me, okay? I mean, this fragrance to me actually comes up on a lot of lists, and I know a lot of the fragrance reviewers, you probably have a fragrance like that. This is definitely this one for me. The first time I smelled this one, I fell in love with it. I might be on bottle, 4 or 5 of this one, and it's from the house of Dunhill, right? And this is Icon. I love this stuff, okay? A completely different type of freshie that I actually had not smelled before, okay? And still not today. Introducing me to the note of neroli, bergamot, black pepper, petitgrain, vetiver, oak moss, iris, leather, and agarwood. I get it when people say it smells similar to like a fizzier grape soda. I mean, it just sounds weird if you're talking about something like this. That I say that you can dress up or dress down. Perfect for a grab and go. Perfect for basically anything, okay? So I know the grape soda thing will throw you off. It is very similar to that. And I don't really have a different way of describing it. But I can tell you there's just a lot of citrus in here, and it's blended with some earthy notes that actually this just comes off very, very fresh but sweet, okay? But it's not overly sweet. I know the grape soda thing is gonna throw you off, but I promise you it's not. So as I stated, you could dress this up, dress it down, grab and go, date night, work site, gym scent. I mean, this is just the definition of versatile, okay? So when I talk about backup bottle worthy, to me, in addition, it's also super, super unique. There's nothing in my fragrance collection that smells like this, and I haven't actually smelled since then, okay? So that's the reason this was inducted into my backup bottle worthy list. So, okay, so if you haven't smelled this one, you can get a sample, but you can usually get this one online for maybe about $40, okay? So if you haven't got your nose on this one, definitely check this one out. I'll always have a bottle list. I went through multiple bottles before. I've talked about this on the channel ad nauseum. One of my favorites from the house of Dunhill. This is gonna be Icon. This next fragrance blew me away the first time I smelled it, okay? Definitely a hype beast. 100% not overrated to me, okay? 10 for life, holy grail to me all day long. And the reason it had to go on this list, let me just tell you, basically for 2 reasons. One was this line in general is just known for, or let me just say this fragrance house is known for discontinuing fragrances. Sometimes they'll bring them back, whether they're reformulated for the best or the worst. And 2, after this actual fragrance introduced me to this group of notes blended together, I've tried similar fragrances that have done the same thing, and I've bought them and they've been good, but this has just been a standout. And I'm talking about Dior Homme Intense, okay? blew me away, all right, the first time I smelled this. Lavender, iris, pear, and vetiver. This is so smooth and sexy. I'm talking about, this is one of those fragrances when I smelled it for the first time that keeps me addicted to this game, okay? I'm not even BSing you. That's how much I really like this fragrance, okay? Introducing me to the note of iris. After this fragrance is when I acquired, you know, Valentino Uomo Intense, okay? And then after that, it was Prada L'Homme Intense. And truthfully, again, like I said, this one is the standout, okay? There is something about that lavender and iris and a little bit of citrus, that pear, that combination here. I mean, I wish I could wear this a lot more, but like I said earlier, it's just a little bit too thick for the high heat. So this is definitely really more for the fall and cooler weather. But I have no problem rocking this one to the work site if I could. Not a gym scent, definitely a close encounter, definitely date night. But well, this is the backup bottle. Let me just be honest with you. I need to get another bottle, so you know, just 100% transparency right here. This is the backup bottle, but I heard that the latest ones have been reformulated, so I really don't know. So I'm feeling a way about that. But it had to make this list, okay? So if you've got access to maybe some of the older variations or whatever, and maybe you can fact check me, I could be wrong with some of the newer bottles or batches of Dior Homme Intense. This is one, if you've never smelled this and trying to get your nose on some of these iris based fragrances, I'm gonna be honest, I would actually start here. All right, next up on the list, this is another one that is just immediately, to me, the first time I smelled it was backup bottle worthy, okay? So I'm not gonna say that this house is known for actually discontinuing fragrances like that. I definitely feel like I can't say that, and I've been tracking a lot of their fragrances, and truthfully for probably like the last 15 to 20 years, to be honest. So this is one that was new to their collection. To me, nothing in my collection smelled like this, and just was something that I immediately knew that I would have to buy a backup bottle of. And that is from the House of Prada. And this is Luna Rossa Black. Okay, bergamot, angelica, patchouli, coumarin, amber, and musk. Stunning, sweet, powdery, ambery fragrance. This right here is probably one of the more sexier fragrances I've actually smelled. Since I got this at probably like the top of 2023, since then I could probably say on one hand how many fragrances that I've actually purchased since then that are just really, really sexy, okay? And this is one of them. I had to emphasize this actually being such a sexy or sultry or just a come hither type fragrance, because the performance on this one is poor, okay? So the whole fragrance community actually knows this, but that's why I stated earlier in the video that this criteria for these fragrances wasn't based on, you know, performance, projection, and stuff like that. But this juice is so good. Think of this like, now it doesn't smell like, but as far as performance, but just really rating high, similar to a Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. So the reason I bring up the Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum is because they're kind of similar profiles to me. Not exactly the same, but they're definitely getting pretty close. But truthfully, this trumps that. So if you already have purchased that, or you like that, and you already know that that's got poor performance, so you got to be using it for a close encounter or something like that, even if you overspraying, you already know it's dissipating pretty quickly. So this, to me, I hold in way higher regard. And this is how I'm going to compare it. And I'm going to end it with this. If Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum went away, I wouldn't care. But this, I had to buy the backup bottle. In love with this next fragrance. Love at first sniff, introducing me to the combination of honey and tobacco. 100% a hype beast, but well worth it to me. I don't care what anybody says, and this is definitely backup bottle worthy. This is Naxos from the House of Xerjoff, okay? Lavender, bergamot, lemon, honey, cinnamon, cashmere, jasmine, tobacco leaf, tonka bean, and vanilla. This is a stunner, okay? Again, one of these ones that I purchased that I can definitely say is 100% sexy, okay? Remember, you gotta run your own race, okay? Wherever you at in life, okay? And just think about, in a room full of normies, are you gonna be around people that are wearing this, okay? This opens up citrusy, dries down into this beautiful honey, tobacco, tonka, vanilla creaminess. I mean, honestly, and I made a video about it, yeah, this is definitely one of the best pickups I had in 2023. I'm gonna keep it a little bit short on this one because I'm assuming you guys have heard about this one. If you have not, definitely one for sure you need to get your nose on. One that from the first time I smelled it, I knew that I needed a backup bottle of it. And let me just also add too, the kicker about this one is that not only is it unique in my collection, it just smells like quality. There's a luxurious feel that you get from this fragrance. So let me just tell you one more time, this just smells like luxury. That's the other thing too. So with the combination of it being new to me, you know, the honey tobacco thing, the fact that this is blended to perfection, yeah, and I don't know if Xerjoff actually discontinues fragrances like that. This was actually my first one from the Xerjoff house, okay? So I don't necessarily know, but to me, backup bottle worthy from the house of Xerjoff. Talking about Naxos. Completely unique to my fragrance collection. I never smelled anything like this. And actually to this day, I feel like there might be one other fragrance that I smelled that was kind of close to this, but this one right here, it blew me away on just the individuality and the uniqueness of the fragrance. And this is from the house of Parfums de Marly. And this is Pegasus, right? And this bottle is basically pretty much talking about and just, you know, exemplifying it all. No breakdown, heliotrope, cumin, bergamot, almond, lavender, jasmine, vanilla, sandalwood, and amber. This is a clean, luxurious smelling fragrance, okay? So let me just say off top, this is not blind buy worthy, okay? You 100% need to sample this because I could just see this basically being divisive because it does open up metallic, which I had read before I basically had smelled it and didn't really understand what they were saying, but it's very hard to describe the metallic. Okay, I guess it's an actual smell, but this does dry down as something very, very creamy, vanilla, almondy, but there is something very, very upscale and unique and sexy about this fragrance. But this is also situation specific, okay? This is not, to me, an everyday wear. Let me know if you smelled this before. Is this an everyday wear? Is this something that you could rock to the office every single day? Maybe, you know, definitely not a gym scent. This is really, to me, more of an upscale, dressed up, formal type fragrance. This is exuding luxury and you're gonna stand out in a crowd. And for that reason alone, I actually really love this fragrance. Now, I don't really know enough from the house to see if they actually discontinue fragrances like that. I think this is the third from the house that I bought, starting in maybe 2020 or something like that. But if you're into the notes of amber, vanilla, almond, it's 100% worth the sample, okay? Again, not blind buy worthy because, again, you know, 1 out of 2 of y'all, you definitely not gonna feel it. But I feel like for the individuals that actually are going to like this fragrance, you're going to love this fragrance. And this is one that nobody around you is going to be smelling just like you. I can damn near guarantee that. Not too many people are gonna be rocking this fragrance, okay? So I'm gonna leave it right there and just let you know, if you're into something that's creamy, almondy, vanilla with a little bit of amber, again, it's got that opening of that metallic thing, which when you smell it, you'll get it, but it's hard to describe. If you're interested in something like that, and this is very, very sexy, okay? Try Pegasus from the house of Parfums de Marly. Ew! In love with this stuff, man. Love at first sniff, man. This is Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme from the House of Chanel. Okay, mandarin orange, mint, cypress, sage, pepper, tonka bean, musk, sandalwood, and cedar. When I smelled this for the first time, I almost fell out. This is blended to perfection, okay? This was one of the first fragrances, besides something that I used to rock 20 plus years ago, which is Diesel Plus Plus, that gave me that real kind of lactonic or like creamy feeling, okay? But that vanilla and tonka bean with the mandarin up top, this is so good. And I did research. It doesn't look like Chanel be, you know, discontinuing fragrances on a regular basis. So we might have a little bit of time with this one, but this one I would for sure be heartbroken if they wind up discontinuing this one. I got to have this one. This is definitely 10 for life. This is holy grail for me, and definitely backup bottle worthy, okay? If you've never smelled this, I almost want to say shame on you, okay? Because this one is worth smelling. But what's crazy, and I'm gonna add that, which is contradictory to this video, for some reason, and I don't know, this one does not get as many compliments as I feel it deserves. That being said, this one is a little personal, okay? So, you know, there's a gang of fragrances I could actually list that, you know, I don't think smell, you know, a fraction as good as this one. You know, that fraction might be hating a little bit, okay? They smell okay, but compared to this one, and they wind up garnering a lot of compliments. So I feel like in the fragrance community, we understand and respect the perfumery here, which is why it's so personal to me. But I'm just gonna put it out there because we tell the truth on this channel. This one hasn't gotten me as many compliments as much as I think that it should for it to be a holy grail of mine, a 10 for life, for me to kind of hold this one in such high regards. But regardless, this one is very, very good. So if you haven't smelled it, I'm sure you've heard about it on multiple channels. You definitely need to get your nose on this one because it's 100% worth it, and it is backup bottle worthy for me. So I'm gonna leave it right there, man. From the House of Chanel, this is Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. This is one too, as good as it smells compared to the others that are on this list, it's extremely versatile, okay? So I'm not gonna rank the fragrances on this list. They did not have any type of specific order for me, but the actual perfumery and the high regards I'm actually holding this fragrance for this to be this good, it's very, very versatile. So you could do this to the work site. You could do this as a gym scent. This is a grab and go. This is date night. This could be formal. This is a casual encounter. You're getting all of that with this fragrance, okay? So if you're into the notes of, you know, a light mint, a little bit of orange up top, slight spice, must reiterate that. Tonka bean and musk, yo, this is one for real. You gotta smell it. Rolling right into the next one, man. One of my favorite fragrances in my whole collection, man. This is just one that when I smelled it for the first time, it was definitely love at first sniff. And it's also interchangeable with the flanker. This is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Again, interchangeable with Noir Extreme Parfum, okay? Cardamom, nutmeg, orange, rose, jasmine, vanilla, sandalwood, and amber. Classy, sophisticated, intriguing fragrance that to me has truly been a compliment monster. Beautifully blended, spicy and citrus notes, okay? This is one that I've been pulled over and asked about. I've actually lied low-key and tried to gatekeep this fragrance. This is just one that really touched my soul when I smelled this for the first time, okay? So the issue I have with this one though, like I told you about the criteria, is that the performance isn't really there. I mean, and I'm not a sissy sprayer, okay? So I definitely overspray, but this is one that unfortunately the performance isn't there, and that's why I brought up the flanker. I was just kidding about the gatekeeping thing. If anybody ever asks me about what fragrance I'm wearing, I immediately tell them out here. I really don't care. But back to the fragrance. So Tom Ford Noir Extreme. if maybe you want to ride under the radar a little bit, okay, you want to be a little bit more subtle, I would go with this one, okay. If you want to, you know, maybe announce yourself when you kind of come in the room, you know, give a little bit more projection, I would go with the Parfum. You still won't be offending anybody with that one because both of them, they're just so beautifully blended that it's just, this is ultra sexy to me, and there is nothing in my collection that I've had to this date that actually smells like this, and which is why it had to be backup bottle worthy. This to me is probably top 3 in the list today that I'm creating right now. So that is why if this fragrance went away, I would feel away. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't actually have the backup bottle of this one, but I'm gonna get the Parfum and probably wear this one a lot more until I can basically, you know, kind of transition over. And it's hard for me anyways at this point with all the fragrances I have to really get to the point where I even really put a dent in a lot of bottles. But this one is extremely special to me, and especially if you like compliments, super sexy beast, okay, whether it be the original Tom Ford Noir Extreme or the Parfum, this is one you definitely need to get your nose on. Rolling right into the next one, there's some fragrances on your journey that are basically gonna change the way you even think about fragrances. It's like at that point where you kind of elevate your palette and you start to get open to different, you know, combinations of notes and stuff like that. And this is one of them. This is my third one I smelled from the house. The first one was Baccarat Rouge. The second one was Gentle Fluidity Silver. And the third one was this one, which was Oud Satin Mood from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, okay? Bulgarian and Turkish rose, vanilla, oud, violet, and benzoin. My first rose oud combination opened up the door, man, and I stepped through and haven't looked back since, okay? So this is one that I can see why certain individuals would say it does lean a little bit feminine, okay? I can see why they would say that because you're definitely getting hit with a gang of rose, okay, early, up top, okay? This dries down, it's still the rose, it's still there, but it dries down to something a little bit more vanilla. I don't get a whole bunch of oud out of this, but this is actually really, really nice, but it's complex. It smells complex, but I can see how the rose to certain individuals, it's definitely off-putting. So this is a fragrance I feel like you're either gonna love or kind of hate. It's very, very divisive, but it still is complex, but this is really, really good. So the individuals that like it, I feel like you're gonna love it, and I kind of fall into that category. Plus, like I said, it opened up the door for me to be, you know, open to smelling other, you know, rose oud combinations. And since then I've smelled others. This was kind of a first for me, and that's why it's become, you know, something that's really been highly regarded. Haven't really said this about any of the fragrances on this list, but for this one in particular, I feel like I gotta put it out there, okay? So 100% this is definitely, you need to sample before you buy. Don't just go out and purchase this fragrance. It's definitely not one of those. In addition, this is one that you cannot overspray. It is nuclear. It's already kind of divisive. I'm just putting that out there. If you guys actually own this, or you smelt this and you don't like it, or even if you do like it, hop in the comment section and tell me, is this nuclear? Is this a divisive fragrance, okay? This is one, probably 2-3 sprays max, okay? And even with this one, I'm gonna be honest, you probably wanna spray this one and give it about 30-40 minutes before you walk into where you gotta go. It's that pungent. Gotta put it out there too that this one is actually specific to occasions, okay? I don't feel like this is an everyday wear, so it's actually interesting that this is backup bottle worthy to me because I don't get a chance to actually even wear this fragrance that much. Again, I know I said something about that earlier in the video in regards to weather. It's really not weather. There's just something about the chemistry of this fragrance that it's just not an everyday fragrance. I can't wear it to the gym. It's not just a fragrance that I would just use as a grab and go and just running errands. It's definitely more like date night, something dressed up, you know. I would not wear this fragrance to the office, okay? So it's really, really specific in its use, but still amazing. Still an amazing fragrance, man. Definitely backup bottle worthy, especially for me. If you haven't smelled this one, again, 100% get a sample. Do not go out and blind buy this one, but if you're interested in the notes of rose and oud, but really I feel like it's a little bit more vanilla, definitely go ahead and get your nose on Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. This is one that, to me, if this fragrance went away, man, I would feel away. So it's definitely backup bottle worthy. Next up, this fragrance right here is the definition of a flanker, okay? Was in love with this line, okay? Mostly all of the line. I think I have, and it might be 8 or 9 in the line, and I might have at least like 5 from the line, but this one really stood out amongst all of them, and it's a battle for me between this one and another one that's actually the best in the line. But when we talk about innovation, because you know, if you deep off in this life as far as fragrance community is concerned, you already know that some of the designer lines and the flankers, they can get kind of redundant. It's just, you know, a molecule or a little bit away from what the last flanker actually smelled like. But this one, they really knocked it out of the park. And I'm talking about Gentleman from the Givenchy line, Reserve Privee, okay? Bergamot, iris, chestnut, whiskey, woodsy notes, and amber. Classy, mysterious, dark, rich, nutty. This really could be bottled and sold as niche. This is really that good. This is how you do a flanker. Shout out to Givenchy for this Gentleman Reserve Privee. And also, shocker, compliment monster. Okay, sexy beast. Unfortunately, not really for the temperature we're in right now. Depending upon where you're at in the world, this isn't really built for the high heat. This is, you know, really just for the cooler weather. But again, another one of those ones where I wish I could wear it a lot more, but due to my current place of residence, I don't get a chance to rock it. But this is one too, if they took this one away or they discontinued it, I would feel a way about it. Deal closer. Come hither. Get in the bed. This fragrance right here is gonna take you where you wanna go. I can't hype this one up enough. I feel like it came into community and it just kind of, you know, it definitely got its hype. And I think it was 100% worth it. Like I said, I'm just mad that because this is not one I can wear more than I would actually like. But as soon as I thought about this list, I immediately thought about this one. Also too, because it's a newer fragrance. So I like the fact that, you know, I was able to basically draw from a newer release. And when I say newer release, within the past, you know, maybe 1, 2, 3 years that actually could make a list where I'd be like, yo, this is one I have to basically hold on to. Because if you look at my list, I feel like half the list are fragrances that have been out for a while. So, you know, I'm not a perfumer, not hating on innovation, just talking about that. I really like this one because it is a more newer release. So I'm gonna kind of leave this one right here because I know it's been hyped enough, but this one is hyped for a good reason. And hopefully they don't discontinue this one. But if you haven't smelled this one, this is a deal closer. Please get your nose on Gentleman from Givenchy, and this is Reserve Privee. Last but definitely not least, from the house of BDK, this is Gris Charnel or Gris Charnel Extrait. Easily 9 or 10 out of 10 for me, okay? Amazing fragrance. Cardamom, fig, black tea, iris, vetiver, cistus and canis, sandalwood, vanilla, tonka bean, cedar, and patchouli. I smelled the original on one of my sample haul videos last summer, and unfortunately it just was too weak for me. It didn't really project and did not warrant the price. I ordered the Extrait, smelled that, and it was much more richer, darker, more projection, and I told you I was gonna have to buy it. This is an amazing fragrance, super, super sexy. Again, a little bit of a theme. I didn't actually know that when I was putting this list together, but it seems to be some of my sexier fragrances wind up being some of these ones that are backup bottle worthy. Does not smell the same, but this is giving me similar vibes when I smelled La Nuit de l'Homme for the first time circa, 2009, 2010-ish. This is really that good. To be honest, I don't know if this is really a hype beast. I don't know if a lot of people are talking about this one. I know I hear about a lot of fragrances. I feel like I'm deep off in this, Fragcom life, but I don't necessarily hear a lot about this one. So I don't know what that's about, but if you are into the note of patchouli, vanilla, this is a super sexy fragrance that truthfully can be worn all year round. And honestly, on this list, I haven't been able to say that yet. I know I said I wasn't gonna rank this list, but I'm gonna give you my top three for this list in the level of sexiness, okay? These are the most sexiest on this list, and I'm talking about Prada L'Homme Rossa Black, Tom Ford Noir Extreme, or the Parfum, or Gris Charnel Extrait from the house of BDK. If you're into the notes of cardamom, vanilla, tea, tonka bean, sandalwood, 100% worth the sample of Gris Charnel Extrait. I'm not gonna say it smells similar to La Nuit de l'Homme, but I feel like these are kind of parallel. That's how strong I feel about this fragrance. 100%, I would feel away if they basically discontinued this one. So to me, this is backup bottle worthy, okay? So if you haven't got your nose on it, 100% worth the sample. It's got a price tag associated with it, so don't just go out and blind buy it. But from the house of BDK, Gris Charnel Extrait, this is a stunner. Super difficult list to actually get through, but I made it, man, and y'all rock with me all the way to the end, and I really appreciate that, man. So if you got any benefit from any of this content today, please do consider liking and subscribing, and you already know I'm gonna see you on the next video.